It's time for Wise Money with Korhorn Financial Group with certified financial planners Kevin Korhorn, Mike Bernard, and Josh Gregory.
Welcome to another episode of the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group, where every week we're helping you take your next wise step in your financial life. Thanks for being here, friends. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm your host. I'm also one of the certified financial planners on the program. And with me in the KFG studios, my business partners and fellow CFPs, Kevin Korhorn and Josh Gregory.
Many people think to themselves, if I can just earn more income, I'll be wealthy. But the truth is, wealth is built by keeping more of what you earn. If you want to save more money, but you struggle to know how, this show is for you. We'll share practical tips to boost your savings on today's episode of the Wise Money Show.
That's right. And I'm just going to tell you, there isn't a single show that is scripted for the Wise Money Show, but I truly have no idea where we are going. It's real life practical tips. How can you save more for the long term? How can you save more in your day-to-day? We're helping with that right now. If you have a question for the program, we'd love to hear from you. You can call or text us 574-222-2000. That's 574-222-2000. Online, wisemoneyshow.com is where you can find us, engage with us there. And then all over social media, wherever you're at, we are there as well. Search The Wise Money Show. When most people say they want to have $1 million, typically what they actually mean is they want to be able to spend $1 million. And that is so crystal clear to me now. And you'd think as a financial nerd that revelation was there years ago now. Reading Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money, he makes that point. And even going back to, and we listened to it before we started recording, so the band Bare Naked Ladies, I actually am a fan. It's very good. But they had a song, If I Had $1 Million.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin looked it up. It was 1992.
Yep.
Guys, I'm going to ruin it for you, even though go listen to it. It's very clever, like all of their music, and it's just catchy tune.
It's funny. It's actually funny. I don't think I'd ever heard the song.
They seem to weave a lot of humor into their stuff. It's not about having $1 million.
No.
It's about spending $1 million. Mm-hmm. And here's like the crippling reality. If you spend $1 million, you don't have $1 million. It's almost like, well, I want to be fit so I can eat whatever I want. And isn't that just an awful paradox? Because that's not true. And I want to have financial freedom so that I can just not have to worry about it and I spend whatever I want. No, that's not really how it works either. Maybe the mega super rich, the third generation of generational wealth, maybe, but they're ruined souls, sort of. It's hard to live that life. So spending $1 million, not having $1 million. And guys, thoughts on this banter?
No, I don't. Even that song just reminds me. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this. There was a time, I don't even remember how long ago, but the gas station near our office, I left the office, ran over there to get a Gatorade one day, and the lottery had gotten to $100 million, maybe the first time it had ever gotten there. And they were just giving out lottery tickets. So I walked in giving away lottery tickets.
Because they wanted to be the place that...
Yeah, it was just like some fun promotional thing. So I walk in and they just put something in my hand and I didn't even know what it was until I got back to the office. And I'm like, what? That's a lottery ticket. And do you know that wrecked me? The rest of the day, I'm thinking, what if this thing is the winner? I've never bought a lottery ticket in my life.
Me
but
neither.
For the first time, I was like, wow, I could have $100 million, minus taxes, of course.
Yeah.
It wrecked me for one whole evening.
That, so having whatever the number is for you, whatever and this is the other thing about wealth, is you always think, well, I'm climbing this ladder, and once I get to that rung, I'll be good. I'll be happy. And Kevin, you've said it really, really well. That ladder is in this mist or this fog. When you get to that rung where you think, I'll be satisfied, you look up and you can suddenly see more rungs ahead of you and you're not satisfied. So financial planning, financial freedom isn't actually about finances. It's about living the life that you're called to. And in doing so, you've got to look at the 6 areas of your financial life so that you can strategically, plan and have contingencies and all of that so that you can have peace. Not just financial, I can spoil myself, but just so you have peace and you can live the life that you're called to. All of that, though, let's just say along that route, along the road to financial freedom, however you define it, being able to save money is a just foundational skill. And so many people, all the banter was just to make this point. So many people think, well, I'll be able to save more money when I make more income. And that's not true. That's not true. And we've seen folks with the same amount of income have very different wealth built up. We've seen people that have a lot of income and very little wealth. And so it just depends. What do you do with it? So what are some things that you can do to boost your savings, to increase your savings? And I want to start by thinking long-term, like retirement, long-term savings. And then these are going to overlap a little bit. But what are some savings tips, ways that you can increase your savings for the long term, like retirement? Guys, what do you got?
To me, this is going to be the most nerdy answer, but it is the starting point, and it's where you find all of the other details. And that's to start with a budget. The B word is, it's like almost anti-American at times. Who wants to be constrained in their spending or to set limits for themselves, that sort of thing. But the whole idea here is you have to find the margin in your financial life, in your cash flow, so that these dollars actually do exist. They're not just theoretical. You have the money to be able to squirrel away for long-term goals or short-term goals, either one. But it requires that you put the constraints in place, the plan in place to do it. This is the discipline of budgeting is the very first place to start. And I would set a goal for you. I'd encourage you to shoot for, if I can live off of 85% of what I bring in, take home pay, and save 15%, your goals are all within reach at that point. Like, that's a game changer. Yeah. If you can just create that type of margin. Now, we can get into some specifics on, well, what do you trim out of a budget? What do you do to find your way to 15%? But you have to start with a goal, because until you declare that I'm even going to try, your mind won't go to work looking for these types of tangible ideas.
Can I turn that on its head, though? Because a budget can mean a couple different things, and we mean a very intentional budget. One way is, let me just track my spending, and then if there's any room to save, I'll do that. And just by budgeting, maybe I'll be able to tighten those levers and create room to save. Or I heard it as reverse budgeting recently. Or you declare, this is how much I'm saving, and then you budget to spend the rest. Make that fit. That is the way to save more money. Prioritize saving. So often you think, my rent, well, it just is what it is. My mortgage, it is what it is, and I'll live on what's left. No. Make savings that priority. Save. And then, so have a saving budget, not a spending budget.
Or, I mean, in that the practical application of that might look different depending on what age you are and where you are in your life. It might not be, hey, I'm starting with, I'm going to save this amount of money. Now, when I started my career, I was 25, and I said, well, here's what I know. I did the reverse budget. I said, honey, we can spend everything except we can put $2,000 each into an IRA.
You are so old.
I know, dude.
Isn't that crazy? That was the limit back then.
Old. I know, and the dollar amounts aren't bigger. It's just the dollars are worth less. So it just to be depressing. But here's the thing. So I did the reverse, but it might not be a savings. You might say, hey, I'm getting out of school with $50,000 student loan debt. Perfect. So here's what you do. You say, hey, the first $1,000 every month goes to your student loan debt.
Yeah.
And so your student loans are going to be gone at a certain point in time. And then when that happens, those dollars are going to be repurposed because, I listen to a lot of stuff, and it's like, yeah, this generation, they're having a hard time because they get out, they graduate from college, they've got student loan debt, they've got a car loan, they've got an apartment, they can't get married, they can't do any of this stuff, and all I can do is go back to Jordan Peterson and say, hey, just make your bed.
Yeah,
just make your bed. Start there. Once your bed is made, then make some other small decisions.
I mean, that's an interesting point, that a way to save more is to free yourself from what's holding you back. And so, like, plug your nose and pay off the debt as quickly as possible. You'll be able to save more. Josh, I'm thinking about what Kevin, the advice he gave you early in your career. Hey, you can pay those student loans off in 18 months. And you're like, oh, I got a plan. It's 3 years. No, 18 months. And that's it. That's allowed you to save more. What are some other practical ways? That was just one. Like, I've got a long list here. Ways that you can increase and boost your savings. We've got that more coming up on the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for being here. This is the Wise Money Show. What you're watching right now is our weekly 1-hour talk show that airs right here on this channel, 10 a.m. Eastern time every Saturday morning, and also on podcasts at the same time, and also on a couple local radio stations at the same time as well, which is why the content structured the way it is. It's a long form, but we have radio segment breaks, and so if, though, you're looking for content that's more concentrated, taking one financial concept, applying it directly to your financial life, we've got lots of those videos air all throughout the work week, Monday through Friday. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you're made aware every time we drop new content. If you like the content, thank you very much. All right. Do we have time to squeeze in a bonus content, or should we just go?
Depends on what your question is.
I do. I actually want to back up just
Okay.
a second, but I want to do it on the show.
All right. So let's just get going because you've got it ready. But we are going to do bonus content maybe in this second break. All right. Here we go.
Sounds good.
If you can just save more money, find a way to just scoop a little bit more of your income into your long-term savings, your financial plan will improve. That habit is going to compound. So what are some practical ways that you can save more money? We're helping with that right now. This is the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. Thanks for being here. My name is Mike Bernard. With me in the KFG studios, Kevin Korhorn and Josh Gregory. Stay up to date on all Wise Money content. Find us online, wisemoneyshow.com, and then all over social media, wherever you're at, we are there as well. Search the Wise Money Show. Talking about practical tips to increase your savings, first for the long term, starting with a budget. I've got a long list here. Kevin, what do you got? I know you have one hanging fire.
So I would go upstream of the budget, because what is it that lets me do a budget? And whether it's a traditional track my spending and figure out what can I allocate towards it, or nope, I've got a jar, I'm putting the big rocks in the jar first. I have to pay my taxes. I have to give a portion of this, depending on how you see the world, but I have to give a portion of this back to God. I have to save a portion of this. You put those big rocks in the bucket, and then you say, okay, this is what we have left to spend on, so we can spend this money. But really, if you go upstream of that, like, what allows you to do that? It's really your thinking. So when we kicked this off, you cited Morgan Housel and The Psychology of Money. I love that book. Yep. But the thing is, as a financial advisor, I've read everything I can possibly get my hands on to influence how do I think about money. And then I've listened. So if you said, hey, I don't know how to do it, I said, well, get the book. Morgan Housel's book is, I think it is a stroke of genius, The Psychology of Money. I love Daniel Crosby, The Soul of Wealth. It's a collection of 50 different essays.
We need to have Daniel on the show. We've been talking about it. He's willing.
At every conference I see him at, I buy him a Diet Coke, and he says, yes, I'm coming on your show. You just got to ask
Blame
me.
me. It's my fault, guys.
Okay.
Sorry.
I blame you for all my problems, Mike. And so, but George Kinder, the 7 stages of money maturity, there are so many different books that help you with the internal finance and like my thinking. Like I need to be prepared emotionally to do a budget. And then I need to, so that's the soft part. And the hard part is the skill. Like I need to have these skill. How do I block and tackle? Because the thing that's always been amazing to me, and I remember in my very first year as a financial advisor, and there we had a client. Well, it was back then as I had a client.
Yep.
I had a client that made $212,000 a year, and I could not believe it. I mean, that was it. That was a ton of money 32 years ago, and I looked at what they were saving. And I looked at what my wife and I were saving. And she was a first-year teacher at a small Christian school. and I was a
Struggling artist.
yes,
Got it.
yes, and I went home and I said, honey, we're saving more than one of my clients who's making multiples of what we're making. And I love my wife, and she's always like, don't compare yourself to anyone else.
That's right.
And I'm like, well, come on, can I just enjoy it for a second? And she's tried to pull out this mature version of me for 32 years.
Keep trying, Lori.
She's Mrs. Corhorn's opus. But that's the amazing thing. Like this, and this it has always amazed me because I will see clients who make a ton of money, and I think, well, therefore they have a ton of money, and they don't. And then I will see clients that make the same amount of money, and they have an unbelievable amount of money. I'm like, how can that be?
This is another Morgan Housel, and so I know we're diverting from tip. We're going to get back to saving tips, but we're diverting a bit because Morgan Housel says wealth is a secret, and it's absolutely true. It is. So you don't know what other people are doing or how they're doing. You get to see some evidence, but that's not evidence of their wealth. It's evidence of income or future income because they were able to borrow it. And so it's all hidden. It's all a secret. And the fact of having a lot of income does not correspond one-to-one to, well, I've been able to save a lot. It just doesn't. It's your habits. All right, let's get to more practical habits. One we talk about all the time, and that is increase how much you save for retirement 1% a year. I would tie that. If you get a raise, save your raise. You can increase raise 2%, awesome. High five, increase your contributions 2%. And if you say, well, I don't know, sometimes it's a little fluid, but once a year, typically the health insurance changes, not the way you want. Some of the other benefits might change. Just increase your savings 1% a year. That's been an extremely valuable hack because 5 years from now, you're now saving 5% more per year. That compounds.
Yeah, we've seen this work so many times with clients over the years who, maybe they're saving 10% right now, and we demonstrate to them with the forecast of their retirement outlook and everything, hey, we really need to get you to closer to 15 or 16%, let's say. But that feels like an insurmountable goal when you're looking at 10 and 10 feels tight, but 1% more is doable. And it allows you to just get some practice at it, prove to yourself that it can be done. You get used to living on 1% less than what you were before. You can make that adjustment over the course of a year. And then what if you do it just one more time again, the year after that, and then the year after that? And you can kind of slowly ease your way into the savings pattern that you really need to be on in order to achieve your goals, but it is doable. And if somewhere along the line you get to the point where you're like, hey, we are tapped out, we cannot go any further, don't ask me again.
Yeah.
Then maybe you pause at that point. Maybe there's something going on in your financial life that you need to kind of digest or adjust. And maybe it's the next year that you're able to return to that 1% increase.
Yep.
It's part of the benefit of having someone in your life who's pushing you to do the things that you need to do in order to achieve the things that you have prioritized for yourself.
And I love technology, and I've been saying for at least the last 20 years, there's never been a better time in the history of the world to accumulate wealth. And if you say, well, what's an example of that? Well, Josh, you're talking about increasing your savings 1% a year. So now here's the thing. If I'm married, I have to do that in my retirement plan. And if my wife is working, she has to do it in her retirement plan. Because if not, I'm increasing my savings 0.5%.
0.5%. I would go ahead.
No, so I'm saying right now, technology, you have an app on your phone, which I'm telling you didn't have 10 years ago. So you have an app on your phone that likely allows for something called an automatic increase. Mm-hmm. And so as we have participant success advisors that work with retirement plan participants to help them do this. And the folks that do this, the results are amazing.
Yeah. I would, another hack, implement a pennies from heaven rule. What in the world is that? All sorts of things you're mashing together. That is, I wasn't planning on this income. maybe I had an idea that it would show up, but I wasn't planning on it. This was a quarterly bonus. This was an unexpected bonus. This was a gift. This was wow, we got a tax refund this year. Something like that. Implement a rule. And if you want that rule to be, save all of it, go ahead and enjoy sleeping on the couch if you're married. Tried that one. Didn't work. But maybe an 80-20 or a 50-50. Some sort of rule where we say, listen, if we've got some money that just drops in our lap as a blessing, we weren't expecting it, we're going to save half of it before we think about, well, what could we do with this money? Going back to, that if I had $1 million in that song, before you think about buying a llama or whatever, nope, we're going to save half of it or save 80% of it or whatever it is. Implement that rule, make that decision first, and that can help you stack things up as well.
Yeah, it helps you fight against the natural tendency. Human nature is that if you have some unexpected dollars, the surprise money, often it's unplanned money, and therefore it feels like it's unaccountable money. Like, hey, we didn't really know we were going to have this $1,500 tax refund. Now we can just go get a brand new TV. It's March Madness coming around the corner. Yeah. Let's go get the big screen and really enjoy the party this year.
But what do you do with that $1,500? You spend it 3 times. I mean, this is the tricky thing, and this is why I don't like to have meetings with Josh and Mike, because usually when I'm talking about an opportunity, Josh says it's already spent.
Yeah,
and he's actually right.
Yeah. So pennies from heaven rule, implement that. We get on the same page with your spouse, and predicated on that is having the underlying blocking and tackling in your financial life of a budget, so that you have the awareness and the confidence that, oh no, we don't need this in our budget. We've got a 3 bank account system that's working just fine. Now we have this tax refund. We've got this bonus, and let's have it help us save more money. What are some other things? What are some practical things that you can do on a day-to-day basis to increase your savings? That and more coming up on the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. All right, that was segment 2. Let's get into this. All right, this is in line with savings. When does it make sense to keep money in cash instead of investing it?
When you need it.
Yeah, when you know you're going to need that money in the short term.
And yep.
Investing should be a long-term play. And long-term is way longer than what most people give it credit for.
I was just going to ask, so what do you call short-term? What do you call long-term?
I think theoretically 10 years and longer is long-term. But in practice, I act like 5 years is long-term. It's not, but that's how I act. If I know we're not going to use some dollars for the next 5 years, I err on the side of investing it. Which can burn you. But
I would agree with that. And I mean, it's the same investment, S&P 500. If you look at it on a daily basis, it's a coin flip. Half time it's up, half time it's down. If you look at it on a monthly basis, I think 60% of months are up. If you look at it on a yearly basis, I think 74%, maybe 75%. Every 3 years, odds are greater, 80-some%. Every 5 years, we're touching close to 90% of 5-year periods are positive. 10 years, it's 98%. So that's how I would frame if you're going to need the money in the short term, it's a coin flip. What are the odds that when you need the money, it's worth less?
Okay, so you guys can give me some advice here, because we're getting close to the college years.
Yeah.
And I've been investing, $529 since our kids were born, just trickling money in there like clockwork. And it's stayed invested the entire time. This is an important decision, because if you don't know this, if you're listening today, 529 plans, you're limited on how often you can change the investment mix. And so do you say, hey, we're a year out from Jaden going to college. Do you peel back the risk and move more of that on the sidelines, knowing that the market's been running strong this year, that sort of thing?
Yeah,
that's the way I'm leaning, is at least half of it.
Half of what?
His 529 plan dollars.
So well, here's the thing. It's a year and a half out, and you've got 4 years beyond. So I've got a 5.5 year time frame.
Right.
I think I would at least get the first year. I mean, here's the hard thing. You probably don't know what a year's going to cost yet.
Right.
And so but I would, the pain of a loss is 10 times worse than the ecstasy of a gain.
Yeah, emotions. Yeah.
And so I would.
And our plan is to keep on contributing or saving during those 4 years, which means we can, handle some market decline. But your question about what's long term is what kind of sparked that, because I always think 5 years. Well, even there, we're 5 years from the end of college for him potentially.
So right. So then so this is how I think about it. What if you made a mistake? And if you made a mistake, then you say, well, those are Aria's 529.
Yeah.
And so
I have thought that too.
You just do the accordion program, and
she's gonna have a full ride by the time I screwed up with the boys. And Aria's my favorite.
Yeah.
You heard it here. Just kidding.
All righty, here we go. Third segment. And then I'll navigate to like day-to-day stuff. Here we go. What are some life hacks that you can use? What are some life hacks that you do to save more money? Share those. If you're watching on YouTube, share them in the comment section. Love to hear. We're sharing ours right now. This is Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. Thanks for being here. My name is Mike Bernard. With me in the KFG studios, Kevin Korhorn and Josh Gregory. Every episode of the Wise Money Show is on podcast. Wherever you listen, just search the Wise Money Show and subscribe to it there. Rate the program there as well. We appreciate it. Spending the time today focusing on how you can save more money. It's not about, well, if I earn more, I'll save more. Maybe that's a choice. And so, sure, if you save more money, you have more opportunities, if you earn more money, you have more opportunities to save, but that's not a direct correlation. One does not equal the other. It is your choices. It is your habits. And as Kevin shared earlier, it's your thinking. So who's shaping your thinking on your savings? We're going to share some practical hacks, life hacks to save more money. This one's an obvious one, but the habit maybe isn't as obvious. I would tune into your company match once a year. Just make sure you know the formula. Make sure you're getting the full company match. And you might say, that's kind of boring. It's the match has been the match has been the match. I know sometimes it changes. I can't tell you how many times we've said, all right, well, you're doing 6%. That's getting the full company match, right? Oh, yeah. And then we look and, oh, no, the match, they changed it. It's on the first 8% or something like that. So tune into that. And sort of the tag along with that is if you're married, make sure that you both are getting the full company match. Mm-hmm. So often in a two-income household, the thought is, well, this individual is going to do a lot of the saving, and then the other dollars are going to be there to land in the bank account. No, make sure you're strategizing and optimizing with both sources of income.
Yeah, you need to stay tuned into your contributions to your retirement account, because the power of using a 401k at work is simply that you can set it and forget it. Right?
Pay yourself first? Yeah.
That's right. Right off the top, you are peeling the right amount out, setting it aside for the long term, letting it grow as it is invested in growth-oriented investments. The point, though, is you can forget about it, and that can be to your own detriment as well. How often have we known folks who intend to max out their 401k, and they are 53 years old and don't realize that they never went back and are taking advantage of the catch-up contribution?
Yep, that's another one. Set that reminder in your phone, age 50.
It's been a while since I've seen this problem before, where if someone maxes out their 401k by, say September or October, and so, they've hit the limit, their 401k contributions stop until next year, is your employer still continuing on with the match program? Or sometimes there's a glitch. Sometimes it's an oversight where they have to kind of do a true up and make sure that you are getting your true full match. So you kind of have to advocate for yourself. Just make sure that their math is right. In this day and age, usually systems, computers, and everything are catching that sort of thing, but you never know. So just keep an eye on it. Don't go too hands off.
Yeah, and another example of that is if you get a bonus, does the 401k contribution that you make on your regular salary, does that percentage also apply to your bonus?
Yep.
And some plans, it actually depends on the plan document. So does are there deferrals that happen out of your bonus, and are those deferrals matched? That's what you want to know.
Automate your savings. So if you're doing a Roth IRA contribution outside of just your 401k, I would do that automatically. Don't think, well, I might have some money at the end of the year, that sort of thing. No, just automate it. This one gets really granular. If you are funding those lump sum with cash instead of automated, make that contribution at the beginning of the year. 3 out of 4 years in the market. This is not predicting the future. This is telling you about the past. 3 out of 4 years in the market are positive. So if you contribute at the beginning of the year, you have more tax-deferred growth. Same thing with the RMDs. Maybe put those near the end of the year. That sort of thing. Doesn't always work out. You've got other competing priorities there. All right. If you have more for long-term savings, feel free to bring them. But I want to shift and start including some just day-to-day habits. Like, how do you just squeeze? What does Jim Collins say? How do you rinse your cottage cheese? And the example was these. That's
kind of gross.
That sounds disgusting.
I know, but read the book, and he talks about how these folks are so fanatical about being healthy, and they want to get the goodness, but not the garbage. And so I think it was marathon runners was the example he gave, that they were so fanatical about getting the right nutrients, but not having the bad stuff, that they would, in like a strainer, rinse their cottage cheese. Oh, nasty. Okay, so my version of rinsing the cottage cheese, there's a couple just like, okay, so don't tease me. I don't overthink credit card points and reward systems. And you might be able to really make a killing doing this. And I used, I got this for that and 5% back here. I just, that's too hard for me. Mm-hmm. I went simple with a 2% cash back on everything, and where those rewards automatically go into a savings account.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just automatically. So because it used to be, and maybe you're doing this right now, it does seem kind of funny. Oh, you get these rewards, open the reward catalog. What are you going to splurge yourself with? What Brookstone device are you going to get? I did that for a couple of years and thought, this is junk.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It felt kind of cool to spoil yourself. And then I thought, this is too much work.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I did that exercise with a friend of mine, actually a group of friends, and they were saying, oh, you got to have a Marriott card. You got to have this, and this, and this, and this. And I'm like, okay, well, this hotel that we're staying in is $350 a night. If I'm using points, it'd be the equivalent of spending $800.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is absolutely it, where you just say, hey, let me have something that works, and I know it works, and I don't have to remember, do I pull this card out when I'm getting gas, but this card when I'm getting groceries, and this card when I'm going to the veterinarian, and this, or whatever it is.
The only one that I might say it might be worth playing that game is the Costco card, but I don't play that game. Josh, what do you got? Because I got several other like straining.
Well,
the
I was just
cheese.
going to say we've done the exact same thing. We have a Fidelity card that we use, and it's 2% back. We use it for everything.
Yeah.
And, we've piled up a good amount in a 529 plan that way. It goes straight in, gets invested for growth, and, it's my buffer if I mess up the kids' accounts there.
You gotta adopt another rule if you're going to do that, and that is you're not going to put anything on the credit card that you won't pay off at the end of the month. You have to adopt that rule.
Ever.
As well.
It has your bank account needs to be connected to your credit card, and it needs to be automatic pay the whole thing every month.
Never miss it.
All right, don't get mad at me. Implement. Never buy anything on Amazon the day you put it in your cart.
Okay, I'm mad at you.
Implement a 24-hour rule. I mean, here's the thing, guys. They just ruined it for all of us. They can ship the thing to you before you really have confirmed, do I need this? Like, if they can ship it in 2 days, give yourself let it sit in the cart for 2 days before you do it. So 24-hour rule is the one I would.
That doesn't make any sense. If they can ship it in 2 days, wait 2 days. Now I'm 4 days out, dude. What are you talking about?
That's right. If it's underwear and you need it, then go get it, I guess. So there are times where you can break this rule. But the point is, it's so easy. You can click a couple buttons and you can get some dopamine while you're at it. And then all of a sudden you've spent some money that just shows up on the credit card. Oh, gosh, the bill's a little bit. No, implement a 24-hour rule. Or like that, I was saying, to implement a 2-day rule on Amazon purchases.
You went very specific, and I was going to be much more general and say similar to that. You have to get to the point where you've eliminated the debt in your life and you are starting to work on a cash-only basis. Mm-hmm. But when you get to that point, it does transform the way that you make your purchasing decisions. It forces you to slow down, right? One of my kids just bought their first car this past summer, and we were looking at certain models, certain years and everything, and in a certain price range, and it was going to be the upper end of what he would be able to handle. And he made the choice to actually dial it down, reduce the amount that he was going to spend, and it was only dollars that he had saved up ahead of time. But early in the process, he asked me the question, "Hey, Dad, can you just buy the car and then I'll make payments back to you?" And that was an easy answer. That no, I'm not going to do that to you.
You know what those loans to your children are called?
A gift. Charity.
Gift.
No.
Yes.
The point, though, is when you are spending dollars you've already saved, it will slow up the parting of the cash. You will let go of that cash a little bit slower. You will make a more wise decision than if you're borrowing and spending future income.
Yep. All right, we've got more tips on how you can increase or little hacks to boost your savings. That and more coming up on the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. All right, do this one really quickly.
That was a very fun exercise, though, helping him buy his first car, because it took me back to being 16 and buying my own car. That's a, I don't know, major life event, I was happy. And he negotiated it, too. That was fun to watch. And got a great price.
That's very cool.
In a boring car, which is important to me. It doesn't go very fast.
What kind of
car? Honda Civic.
Yeah,
that is
perfect.
the perfect car.
He's got a little bit of a lead
escort.
foot, and so it whines a little bit as he's trying to get going, and that's exactly what he needs, I think.
What's the financial myth, the one financial myth that you wish most people would stop believing?
Oh, that's it. That's an easy one.
What do you got?
More fill in the blank will make me more happy.
Oh, yeah.
So
All
more
right,
money
you
will make
win.
me happy. More house will make me happy. More car will make me happy. More. So this is where I love listening to the Professor of Happiness.
Oh yeah.
I don't fully agree with him on everything, but that's okay.
Arthur Brooks, go check it out if that struck a chord.
He's very interesting because to me, I want peace and contentment, and godliness with contentment is great gain. Mm-hmm. And most people confuse that and think godliness with great gain is contentment, and you're missing it if that's what you think it is.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
I would not be able to do better than that one. That's good.
All right, here we go. What are some ways that you find we can save a little bit more money if we do this? Even the silly ones, the things that you have maybe done over the years and you wouldn't even confess to anyone. What are the things that help you save a little bit more money? We're sharing, it's confession time. We're sharing that right now. This is Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group. Thanks for being here. My name is Mike Bernard. With me in the KFG studios, Kevin Korhorn and Josh Gregory. Every episode of the Wise Money Show is on the Wise Money YouTube channel. Go check it out. Go to YouTube, search the Wise Money Show, and share your savings hacks right there in the comment section for others to enjoy and also maybe adopt as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button while you're there and turn on notifications so you're made aware every time we drop new content. All right, so we talked about the 24-hour rule for online purchases. Another one, and this is, well, let me just share the disclaimer. Great financial planning, great financial peace, financial success isn't defined by, well, how can I just spend as little as possible? Happiness, Kevin, like you mentioned, is not defined by, well, if I spend as little as possible and I save up a lot, then I'll be happy. I would be, but you might not. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's balance. It's balance. Mm-hmm. And so that's why these little savings tips or hacks, like these are little seeds that you can scatter and have a little bit more harvest without really changing your day to day, and just little things to help you improve your financial situation, not squeeze all the goodness out of a relationship or squeeze all the fun out of a relationship or out of your life. No, it's about balance.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, and being on the same page with your spouse as well, right? Because there may be compromise in order to find that balance where I don't know what it is, but often in most marriages, there's someone who's a little bit more loose with the spending and someone who would be a little bit more rigid and err on the side of I'd rather save it than spend it. And often the right answer is somewhere in between, but you both need to be arriving at that agreement together.
Yep. All right. Here's another one.
And the last disclaimer that I would make is in the last segment, Josh was talking about credit card and benefits and other things. So, I mean, a simple life hack, and you might be listening to this saying, how in the world is a money show talking about credit cards or credit card rewards? I thought all credit cards were bad. I thought all debt was bad. And depending on who you listen to, what your algorithm is tuned into or who you listen to on the radio, you might think, hey, all credit cards are bad. If you can handle them, they're not bad. If you can't handle them, then get plastic surgery.
Absolutely.
And get rid of all credit cards altogether and be on a cash basis. I started serving some folks a long time ago. They're on the envelope system. Their income went up to several $100,000 a year. They were still on the envelope system. Mm-hmm. It was awesome. You know what? Get the system that works for you. But I put, the parts of Caleb's education that we had to pay for at the University of Michigan came out of the 529 plan, which was 2% Fidelity Rewards points.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there are benefits, and I was thinking, wouldn't a radio celebrity in Nashville be proud of me? But this is the thing: these little things, and that was a 20+ year journey to pile up that money to tip it on its side over 4 years and pay for it.
All right. Make a list. Make a list of all of your subscriptions. We live in a subscription society now, and I'm just going to tell you, I fought it for a while, and
Drives me crazy.
I don't think it's going back. And there's some good things that now it's just subscription that you got to pay on a subscription. That's okay. But where it gets slippery is when you don't see it and just automatically comes out, and I actually don't even know how many. So I have a spreadsheet where I list what the subscription is, what the amount is, and whether it's monthly charge or annual charge. And at the bottom, because it's a spreadsheet and I'm a nerd, it just sums it up. So I can see, gosh, just without making any conscious decisions, how much are we spending? Mm-hmm. And does that help? It just makes it tangible. One of the things that I loved, and it's harder to implement a cash basis. I don't think Amazon takes it. Like the envelope system, like it's harder to do that now. And you might say, you can do it. And yeah, great. I would tell you one of the good things about that time period was you could make your financial life was starting to get intangible, and you could still do things to make it tangible, where you could see everything and touch everything and like have direct contact with it. And now things are so electronic. Mm-hmm. Everything's just happening and moving, and creating a list of your subscriptions is a way to make it tangible, make it visible, make it, I can see what's happening.
And if that sounds too nerdy to you, which it does sound too nerdy to me, if you have an iPhone, just open the settings, tap on your Apple ID name at the top, and you'll see all the subscriptions that you're paying for.
That come through your iPhone.
That come through your iPhone. So as Mike was saying that, I looked and I had a subscription that's going to renew November 10th that I haven't used it. So I canceled it. Yep. But I mean, this is the sweet thing. As we're using our phones as the kind of the financial center, you leverage this technology to make it easy.
Yeah. Well, you got to pay attention. Also, a lot of these subscriptions will escalate in price over time, and you don't even realize that it's happening. And what you were willing to spend $10 on, if it's now $18 or $19 a month, and you're like, well, man, I'm not getting enough benefit out of this thing. Yeah, to periodically go scrape the barnacles off the bottom of the boat is important. Do the maintenance and the cleanup. And sometimes it's like even going back and just renegotiating the price. You know, the notorious cable bill that was, you know, a promotion of $60 a month, and now you're spending double that.
Yeah.
Same channels, right?
Yeah.
You're still not using it like you were before, and getting that renegotiated down or maybe eliminated entirely. You have to take an active role in your financial life if you want to be able to find the dollars that you can save for the future.
I got a couple more, and they're back to the long term. And this is one we've debated in the past. But the math is the same with pre-tax and Roth. If you contribute pre-tax and you take the tax savings and you invest it, it's the same as contributing Roth, because by contributing pre-tax and then contributing and saving what you paid in tax, you'll have a larger balance. You'll give, and then when you withdraw, you'll give a chunk to Uncle Sam, and you'll be in better shape. So one takeaway, one hack could be, well, invest your tax savings. That's one. The other is if you just have a rule or have a goal or have an objective of, I'm going to max out my 401k. I'm going to max out my IRA. I'm going to max out. And your savings is your savings is your savings, Roth. Because maxing out your 401k, $23,500 this year. If you do that pre-tax, you're going to get some tax benefit today, but then you're going to have to give a slice of that money to Uncle Sam out there in the future. So you could argue, well, that balance isn't fully yours. You got some tax savings today. If you max out your Roth, it's same amount, $23,500. You had to pay more tax today, but then that all that $23,500 and the growth is going to be tax-free. It's all yours. So the math is the exact same if you save your tax savings. But if you weren't planning on it, and most people don't, oh, my tax refund is what my tax refund is. I'll adjust my withholdings, whatever. Then saving into the Roth actually could mean you save more money. And then the second idea, along with that, is max out that HSA. We've said it before, but treat your HSA like a long-term savings account as opposed to a short-term health spending account. And if you do that and just max it out, yes, you're sacrificing some income today. It's a commitment, but those dollars will pile up and compound over time.
Yeah, and if you need some encouragement on this, just go talk to a 73-year-old who has money in a Roth IRA. That's the future you, who is going to be so grateful that you have money that is outside the reach of the government. It's never going to be taxed, and they're not going to make you pull money out of that account just so they can tax you. That's what required minimum distributions force upon you, to have that kind of flexibility on making withdrawals on your terms when you want to, and having them tax-free is the beauty of the Roth down the road.
So have $1 million. Spend $1 million. Live the life that you're called to, and have financial balance, have financial peace. Part of that is having the right thinking and approach with your finances, the right savings habits. These little adjustments can actually compound and add up over time, make a big difference. So that's all the time we have for today. On behalf of Josh Gregory, Kevin Korhorn, all of us at Korhorn Financial Group, have a great weekend. We'll see you next Saturday for the Wise Money Show with Korhorn Financial Group.
Securities offered through Silver Oak Securities, member FINRA/SIPC. Advisory services offered through KFG Wealth Management, LLC. Doing business as Korhorn Financial Group. KFG Wealth Management, LLC and Silver Oak Securities Incorporated companies are unaffiliated.